Hello, Cherie Hanson here. The image that came to me today was it's like watching a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, or a 2-year-old run across the lawn and try to catch a reflection in the child's hands. And we're in a time of flickering. We can't label it. We can't say this is this and that is that because everything's always shifting. The only thing we can trust is that there is only our own energy that we can trust. And so it kind of puts us back on our heels a little bit. Yesterday I went in for a CAT scan and I transferred my anxiety about the CAT scan onto something small and not so frightening, and that is, oh dear, will my car get a ticket if I park in a 2-hour spot and it takes longer than 2 hours? And I thought of so funny. It's like when my daughter was 2 and she had something in her hands that I wanted to get back from her. So I would give her something else to make her let go of it. And so I think that's the way for me sometimes that fear works, because I don't think the truth, which is if the CAT scan is negative, I'm in trouble. Or the other truth is that going into the hospital brings up a lot of memories from me of times of survival and surgery and migraines and injections. And, it's not like going to a rose garden or the Bouchard Gardens or something like that. So there is that kind of thing that is coming back at me. But what I do is I put it into something smaller. It's like, oh, my car might get a ticket. And I have to laugh at myself when I do that, because I'm always trying to find a way to distract myself to a lesser fear, to a more containable anxiety. Let's make it be about this. And I've been very good at letting go of expectation and looking for signals that I'm okay. I know, I call it tapping the barometer. You go over to the mirror, you tap it and say, what does it say? It says fair weather. Okay, great. So I'm going to be fair weather. I see that? It's going to be very good. And so these readings that we take of ourselves are fascinating to watch. How am I? How am I doing? What am I afraid of? And all of this is something that comes from the 3D world, comes from conditioning. When you get to a place that we don't know, we don't know. What is it we don't know? Nothing. We don't know anything at all. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I becoming? What do I really feel? Do I need to feel this? Or is this just am I hearing an echo from a rock that was dropped off of a cliff into the water down in the canyon? We're hearing the echo thought from 50 years ago or 60 years ago. Is this really what I'm thinking right now? And so I went to the hospital and got my CAT scan, and I was just watching my thoughts like crazy. I always feel that these times of testing are really good times to learn more about myself. And last time I didn't drink enough water, so I had a reaction to the dye. This time I drank enough water. So I'm giving myself a better grade. Yes, you're getting better at this. And I found myself sitting in the waiting room with two women. One woman was going to get an MRI, and she had pancreatitis as well. And so she was very nervous, very, very uptight. You could see it. Her eyes were kind of like, you know, when you're so frightened, your eyes change color. You know that thing? They're suddenly black. Why? And I taught her about paying attention to her breath when she was in the MRI machine. I said, pay attention to your breath. Keep coming back to the same rhythm. Just listen to that. And she said she would try it. But I could tell that she was feeling better because she had something to focus on other than imminent death. And then there was another woman sitting over to my right, and she began to tell her tale of how she had cancer. And her story was that she had cancer and there was nothing she could do about it. She had learned how to tough it out. We tough it out. We don't look at the fear. We don't look at the pain. We don't look at the future. We're just, you know, it's nothing I can do about it. And I'm thinking about, it's so interesting how that becomes our armor. Have you ever done that? You just say to yourself, well, there's nothing I can do about this. And so we switch off and we don't feel anything. We don't take control of anything because we don't see that we need something from ourselves at times like that. We need comfort. We need encouragement. We need to recognize our fear of mortality. So what I said to her is, when I had cancer, I listened to YouTube self-hypnosis videos, and they really helped me through it. And she said, what? I didn't know there was such a thing. I said, oh, they really, really helped me. I just listened to them at night, and I would fall asleep, and it just helped me get through it. And you could see she immediately unfisted herself because she was like this, and her shoulders slid back, her face opened up, and I could see this drop down. Yes, there is something I can do. This is a thing I can do. And so I'm sitting there in the waiting room and I'm thinking, you know, you just can't keep me from teaching. You know? I always think of those, you know, the Seventh-day Adventists and the Watchtower people. You know, they just come to your door and they're going to teach you, or they hand you a newspaper and they're going to teach you. You didn't ask for it, but they're still doing it. And I just thought to myself, oh my God, you're so invasive. But the other part of that is that I know when it will land. I can tell because my channel tells me this will land, this will help this person. So the part of me that still doesn't believe in the accuracy of my own channel will show up and try to criticize me for what I am doing. But this is part of growing. This is part of growing into who I am. I've had a channel. I've had a voice. I've had visions. I've had intuition. I know things that there's no way I could know them since I was very young. And what I've come to now is I've come to the idea that I need to give the horse I'm riding its head. You know, just trust it. It does really well. Thank